Hi, good morning. It's November 25th, 2019, and the year is drawing to a close, and I woke up this morning with like 300 thoughts buzzing in my head, and I'm like, well, let's make a video and try to sort it out. I came down here to the lake because I needed some of this, some nature, but the weather will be my timer. It is cold in Wisconsin, and I'm just out here with the woodpeckers and the cardinals and the lake. And as I was walking up here, I'm like, what do I even start talking about? Where do I even begin? And if you see behind me that pile of driftwood, that's kind of how everything feels right now. It feels like all these people coming out of organized religion. We've washed up on the beach, and now what? But at least we're not in the sinking ship, right? So with that, I have some observations to make. If you haven't noticed, it seems like exJW activists are dropping like flies. Some of my most beloved content creators are no mas, taking a break or retired. I think of people like Susan Gaskin, What's Up Watchtower, and the latest to Beth Ledger and Phase 2. I just recently found that channel and I was like, whoa, I really like this stuff. And then he just posted a video a couple days ago entitled My Swan Song. And I was like, really? But I get it. And that's why I just want to talk about the power of pausing. I find myself so often just blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you how much I love you. I'm going to tell you what I know about such and such, and through my words, you're going to understand me. But sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is take a pause. There's a difference between pausing and closing the door, locking it, and throwing away the key. That, in my book, is called shunning. And I just switched topics. What I was just talking about as far as exJW activists, they're not shunning their subscribers by not making videos anymore, just in case somebody made that parallel. That is not what I intended whatsoever. The context that I'm talking about pausing is when we're in relationship with people, especially groups. And I also am probably going to be removing myself from all the exJW Facebook groups that, while they absolutely were very therapeutic for me while I was there, mostly therapeutic, it's a lot of noise right now, and I just need to be near the stillness and the quiet right now. I don't know if it's because it's winter and everything's going within, but that doesn't mean that those who still assemble there aren't getting something of benefit, because I'm sure they are. So I'm happy for them. Which brings me to my next point, and this was touched on by the YouTuber Phase 2 in his Swan Song video about the importance of self-care, getting a good therapist, and not substituting exJW groups for therapy. Everything has its place, and I totally agree with him. And he talks a lot about moving on and why he's not going to make videos anymore, etc. And I get it. And I thank him for what he did share. Also, as I'm thinking about these groups where we meet people, I just came from a awesome exJW meetup in Austin, Texas. I need to upload my video. I made like a vacation video of like just me being in Austin and seeing the old sites because I used to live there, and it's fun. So I'll put that up. It's not informative or like anything. It's just it's a video that I made for myself, but I guess I'll make it public if anybody else cares to watch it for fun. And that exJW meetup was beautiful, and I got to meet some beautiful people who I hope I will continue to stay in contact with and hopefully even meet again face to face in the future. So it was networking. That's good. There's a couple squirrels over there having fun, and a blue jay just flew by. I'm like, literal squirrel. So the meetup, it was great. And we live in this weird world where we do so much networking virtually behind screens and devices. And I don't know the answer. Sometimes I feel like something is better than nothing. And then there are other days where I'm like, nothing is better than something. I guess I'm having the latter kind of day today. But the message in there for me is it's temporary, and the temporariness of it, i.e. relationships, feelings, moods, is the reminder to not take everything so seriously, that when you step on somebody's toe, just say you're sorry and take a pause and forgive and learn. This is all probably like very vague to you. It's actually sounding very vague to me as I'm speaking out loud, but maybe there's something in here resonating with somebody. As I was watching the video clips from the exJW protest that just happened in Melbourne, Australia, I just felt proud. I felt proud that like those are my people on both sides. And that's what's so annoying about the situation you find yourself in when you don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. It's like, I love how Jonas said it to like one of the attendants in the vest when they formed that culty line. He said, this is not personal. This is not against you wanting to be a Jehovah's Witness. This is against policies that hurt people and human rights. And I just love that Jonas, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name, that he keeps repeating that important message. It's not about the Jehovah's Witness who wants to assemble with their friends and family in a Kingdom Hall setting with their theology that I don't subscribe to anymore. But if they do, and it's not hurting people, do it. But then we have the other side where an organization is only as strong as its membership. And so if you are supporting an organization that has hurtful and harmful policies, are you part of the problem? That is not for me to judge. Because I was part of the problem then for nearly 4 decades. But it was out of ignorance. So I guess it comes back to that phrase, when you know better, you do better. I don't have the answers. I am not your guru. I am nobody's leader. I'm just a girl who jumped in a lake and got kicked out of her religion for doing that. Speaking of which, the newspaper article came out in print, which that was a surprise. It came out on the Sunday when I was in Austin. And the feedback has been most kind and generous. People have recognized me at the restaurant where I work, and they've said things like, "Are you that girl from the newspaper?" And I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And every single one of those people said, "Thank you. That was courageous, and thank you for bringing awareness to that." So my message to you now, if you're watching this video, is activism takes many, many shapes and forms, and I feel like the most effective form of quote-unquote activism is the face-to-face conversation where you tell your story, you speak your truth, and in the process of doing that, you are being true to yourself, you're spreading awareness, and you're giving people choice through transparency. And I can't find anything wrong in that. What else do I feel like saying as I have you held hostage on the TV screen right now? I watched a really good video. Speaking of like going back to that phase 2 video, he was talking about the importance of like therapy, like doing the work, working on yourself. You come out of an abusive environment and you're full of hot spots and everything triggers you. And you don't even know why, and it can come out of the blue, and then you end up like snapping at someone even though you didn't mean to, and it's a recipe for drama and more hurt, and the cycle repeats itself. So the pause is to go get some objective help. Objective? Subjective. Objective. I get those two words confused. And so I did that last week. I met with a life coach. We had a meeting to see if there was like compatibility. And it was really great. She gave me some good tools. And I watched this YouTube video about 5 people you need in your life to increase happiness. And the 5 types were: you need a mentor, a coach, friends, a cheerleader, and peers. And if you YouTube like 5 people to make you happy, and I think the lady who presents it has like the word flower in her name, you'll find it. I found that really helpful because guess what? Mentors and coaches don't have to use constantly agreeable language. I think that's what we expect in friendships. We want people who make us feel comfortable, who make us feel safe, who make us feel accepted, and that's good, that's important. But it's also important to have like the devil's advocate kind of people in your life too, to keep you on your toes, to keep you balanced, to keep you in the middle, so that you don't like become a narcissist, I guess. I don't know. Isn't that the buzzword for 2019, narcissism? Well, my arm is kind of like falling asleep. I'll switch hands, but I went to the symphony yesterday. It was Mozart's Requiem. I didn't realize that it was a funeral song. Like all these things that I just like, yeah, I love that symphony, but I never listened to the words. It was very rich and moving. And as I was sitting there in the audience with hundreds and hundreds of people, I just thought to myself, like, this is really beautiful. Here you have in front of you a symphony of people with different political backgrounds, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, multiple personalities, but they put aside all of that for 2.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon to make something beautiful. I think that's a good analogy for living life is have your belief, have your truth, and play well with others. That is what I'm endeavoring to do. I was having a conversation, I don't even remember with who, or maybe it was a YouTube video, and it was talking about like, what do you desire most in your life? And it's like, that's a huge question. Like, these are the big questions. My desire is to make a difference, but I believe, there's a dog and a dog walker, and they're like, what is this person doing? So I'm going to wrap this up. Before one goes on the quest to make a difference, one has to also be accountable. Hi, are you Bella? Are you Bella? I think I know that dog. So, personal accountability, make a difference, leave this planet a little better than when you came onto it. Take plenty of pauses throughout the journey. Tell your friends and family you love them because they might not wake up tomorrow, or you might not wake up tomorrow. I'm just so grateful for the beautiful people I've met in the last year. And I guess the last message I want to leave is the PMOs. Not that we can ever like boil someone down to 4 letters in a box. But people who still go to the meetings because they're fully awake, but they have a family who isn't. I did it for almost 3 years, and I don't regret doing it because it gave me empathy. I feel for you. I don't have the answer for your personal journey. It's a balance of being true to yourself, loving others, and taking everything one day at a time. And I hope this big watchtower mess falls sooner than later, but in the meantime, in the words of like pro-one theologist, live your life. I'm gonna go find that dog. Shalom.